All right, start off the prayer. Heavenly Father, our Lord in heaven, Jesus Christ, I just want to thank you for today, Lord. Thank you for bringing Marcus, bringing his son Jaden here. Just being able to show him our farm and be able for my son and my wife to spend some time with them and just cross paths, Lord. And just pray that, this space is something that whatever comes out of this conversation, Lord, I just pray that it pleases you and that, we are your obedient servants, Lord. And we're just here to honor you, Lord. I pray that we have fun. I pray that we laugh, and I pray that we just get to spend some time together as men of God, Lord. In Jesus' name, amen. Well, welcome to the Daily Bread Podcast. We're here today with Marcus Malouf. Super stoked to have you, dude. I know you from a men's circle that I was a part of. And something that always stuck out to me, what the thing that stuck out to me the most is after I finished my first training with you, you took me out to lunch. You remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. You took me out to lunch, and I was like, oh, this guy's so dope. He's taking me out to lunch. I can't wait to just sit down and chop it up with them. And I remember you rolled up, and I went in for a hug. And it was the most awkward hug ever, bro.
I love it.
Yeah, I went for the hug. You went for the handshake, and I was like, man, I don't know, dude. But I'm just so blessed to get to know you over the years, get to know your family too. Your son's behind the scenes right now, and get to do some work with him. And you're just a good man, and I don't know. I've learned a lot from you over the years, so I'm happy to have you, dude.
Yeah, man. Yeah, thanks for the invite. Yeah, it's interesting because, how we met was, kind of me and a few other men, teaching, right?
Yeah.
Let us give back to you. And over the last, I don't know, probably I'd say 6 months to a year, I've been learning a lot from you, man. Yeah, especially with you, switching over to having God lead your business and, your family and your household. I've been able to learn a lot from you.
Appreciate that.
I appreciate you jumping on and putting all that stuff public on really Instagram, because I see it and I'm like, oh, he's fucking going for it, man.
That's cool, dude.
Yeah.
Iron sharpens iron, bro.
That's right.
There's actually, there's a time, I don't know if you probably do know this, but there's a time where your wife reached out to me. Do you know about this or no?
Yeah, you told me.
Oh, yeah. Your wife reached out to me and was just like, essentially, she's like, Marcus is so close, and she was like, I'm afraid the devil's pulling him away, or something like that. And she just asked if a verse ever comes across my mind or something like that makes me think of you, to just send it your way. And it was cool because I've met your wife before. I don't know her that well though, but for her to reach out and do that, I was like, man, you got a good woman, is what I'm saying. Because yeah,
It's such a wife thing to do, bro.
it is. Yeah. It is.
Yeah.
But that's why we have them. That's why God says, man can't be alone, bro. We gotta. Yeah.
Yeah, that's dope, man.
Amen. He's looking for one.
That's dope, man. How old are you?
I'm 22.
22?
Yeah.
Nice, man.
So I'm trying to get more people to church so that this guy has a can find somebody.
Recruiting center, huh?
Yeah, dude.
That's cool, man. What were you doing when you were 22?
Man,
College?
I was in college. I was playing basketball. I was a little older than I should have been. I was already with my wife. I mean, we were dating at the time, but I was with her since I don't remember. We've been together for 17 years or something like that. So it's been a long
High
time.
school sweethearts, right? Yeah.
Well, she was 18 and I was 21, and we're both men in college.
Gotcha.
But we've been together for a long, long time. So yeah, I don't even know what it's like to date. I don't know what it's like to do any of that stuff. Some of the stuff that you taught me, I'm like, I don't know of any. That stuff flew right over my head. But it's a young man looking for a wife, a godly wife at that. So that's good. It's a good thing. Yeah, bro. I want to swing it over to you and just why don't you let the people, you own your own business, so why don't you let the people know what you do?
Oh, man. So what do I do? Yeah, so I own a business here in the Lakewood area. It's called MC Landscaping, and we do landscape design. Actually, we do more than that, We do a lot more than that. We do outdoor living design, so anything outside of the house, patio covers, pools, concrete, pavers, grass, artificial turf, lights, irrigation, everything outdoors. We design it, we build it, and then we maintain it. We have our own nursery, showroom, office. So we're really different, man. Reflecting on it, there's not really we're dope, dude. Like I built a great company, and you know, I'm always like in the weeds of like, okay, what's next? What's not working? What's going on? And sometimes I sit back and I'm like, damn, bro, I fucking did this.
Heck yeah.
You know, we started off just, I started off just mowing lawns out of a hand-me-down pickup truck with hand-me-down tools. And, I mean, dude, we're doing like dope stuff now, you know?
Yeah, dude.
Like I remember going and like doing a job for $25, you know, and thinking like, oh, dude, I got a job for $25, you know? And, yeah, man, full-on business now, like the whole shebang.
I think one of my favorite pictures that you ever shared on social media was, I think you were standing on top of an old beat up pickup truck with like a bunch of Christmas trees or something like that.
Yeah.
What was that?
No, I had just done a tree trimming job. Yeah. My dad took that picture. He helped me out that day. So yeah, man, good old days, man. I remember like, that was like probably 6:37 p.m., dude, you know, like up before sun and then just work all day as long as we can until the sun goes away. And then at nights, like hit the dump, hit Home Depot, hit the suppliers, pick up material, and yeah, man. Yep. Yeah. But yeah, I was just standing on top of the pickup truck. We'd, you know, trim trees, load up the little pickup, strap it down with a rope, hope nothing falls off on the drive, you know?
Yeah.
Every time we hit a left turn, we're like, oh man, hopefully nothing falls off. So yeah, man, good times.
Heck yeah, dude. How did you get to that place? Like, what's the origin in this business? How did you even get started?
Yeah, so I grew up doing like gardening with my stepdad. He did mowing lawns and did some masonry work and just all types of stuff, handyman. So I grew up like working with him and really learned a lot. And when I was like 18, and this kid was like 6 months old, and I worked at night as at a distribution center, like loading trucks and stuff. Drove a forklift. And then during the day, I was a carpenter. So I remember I worked Monday through Friday as a carpenter, 7 to 3. And then I worked Thursday to Monday at the distribution center from 5 to like 2:30 in the morning. So I worked 7 days a week, but then 2 days a week, I only worked like doubles, like 4 days or something like that. And I did that for like a year. And then I was like, I really like construction. So I stuck with the carpentry job, you know, gave my 2-week notice at the distribution center. And 2 weeks later, my boss at the time, I remember him, he's a really cool guy. He called me in. Actually, he didn't call me in. He met me at the little shack where I'd go in the morning. He's like, hey, Marcus. I was like, hey, man. He's like, I'm going to have to take your keys. He had keys to everything. You know, that was the first thing he did. I was like, okay. He's like, we got to let you go. And I was just like, bro, what? Like, I just quit my other job. I got a baby. I got like, nah, man. And he was like, I'm sorry, man. You know, like, just gotta let you go. And I was like, he told me why. And now thinking back, like, he followed like HR protocol, you know, like just do it. Gave me my check. Don't explain anything.
Yeah.
You know,
on the other side, you've been on the other side of those now. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was just like completely caught off guard. And yeah, man, I was making $12 an hour. Minimum wage was $8. So I was like living large at the time, you know. I was like super bummed, but I learned a lot there. You know, they taught me a lot of skills. And so that day, I remember I went back to the apartment in Wilmington, and I remember I went inside and I sat down for like 10 minutes, and I was like, I gotta get to work. And so I left, you know, and I went to my mom's house, and she helped me, like, we went on her computer and she created a flyer for me. Started off as all-in-one services, handyman. It was like the whole, you know, you get like those things and it's like everything on the business card.
Yeah.
And it was just everything, paint, stucco, windows, doors, you know, the whole deal. And made up some flyers, and I just started like pounding neighborhoods, man, knocking on doors, putting flyers out. My grandmother gave me a lot of business. All her friends, she just like was just like everybody, dude, you know, like she believed in me so much. Like all my original business came from her, all her friends. Wow. So that was dope. So yeah, we started off as a handyman business, man, and we were just going around doing that. And I always had gardening in my back pocket. And as things went on, you know, I just gravitated towards landscaping.
Heck yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. So like when you were in that space of, because it sounded like you just had to get some work. I mean, you had pressures with the sun and all that. And you're just, when did you realize like this is something like you Was there a time where you're like, I'm owning my own business, I'm not working for anybody anymore? Did you ever have that moment, or how did
Yeah, dude. It was when I went back. When I went that day, I went back to my apartment, and I was like, dude, like that, it's completely out of my control. Like I went into work and they fired me. You know, like I had I don't think it was a performance thing. Like I don't know what it was, but it's like there was no fight. There was no like me pleading for it. There was no like, what can I do? It was just like, nope, you're gone. Fuck that, bro. You know? Fuck that.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm starting my own business.
Heck
Yeah.
I think that's like, I don't know what it is, dude. A lot of business owners have sat at that seat, and we all have that story.
Yeah.
Like when we decided where it's just we're not going back.
Never again.
Yeah, dude. Like a term that you always that I'm reminded of when I talk to you is burn the boats.
That's right, man.
I just heard another one that's dope though. Have you ever heard of burn the oxen? Dude.
No.
What?
Is that a biblical story?
It's a biblical story, bro. You know Elisha?
Yeah.
Elisha, dude.
Yeah, you told me about that.
Yeah, man.
That's another level though, man. Yeah, that's another level.
It is. You know, we just got this message recently, so if I butcher it, sorry, Pastor Matt. But you know, Elisha was actually a rich dude at the time, so it was 12 team of oxen, and back then that's like, you know, you got like 12 Bugattis. You know, you had everything that you needed. So his family was rich, and but Elisha was still a hard worker. He worked in the fields. You know, he was still making sure the business was prosperous. He never took his foot off the pedal or anything like that. He was in it until one day Elijah came to him and, you know, threw his cloak on him and said, you know, God's calling you. Let's go. And he did the dopest thing. This is my new favorite thing. I'm not gonna say burn the boats anymore. I'm gonna say burn the oxen, because he went out and he killed all 12 of his oxen. He cooked them up, and then he fed his people before he left. And the cool thing about burning them all is, essentially, it's the same as burning the boats. Like, he's not coming back. You know, he's going to follow God, and he's not coming back, which is crazy to think about when you're leaving something rich. You know, like yeah.
That's crazy. Mine was like the opposite, right? I'm already broke, but, you know.
Yeah, you didn't have any oxen to burn.
Yeah.
But you didn't have to go back. So it's cool, dude. Yeah, and then now, like, a really cool thing is I got to see I think when I first came on to your MC Landscaping Nursery, it was maybe like 4 years ago, and you're operating out of at the time, I think it was like a mobile trailer.
Oh yeah,
single wide. Yeah, you're double now, dude. And then I got to come back. Yeah, I got to come back not too long ago and just see what you did. Like you said, you got the showroom out. You're in the double wide, nice office space. Just really cool what you just see. And I see your trucks everywhere, bro. Everywhere I go, I see your trucks, dude. Well, somebody in my neighborhood just had some work done by you not too long ago. I saw your sign up there.
Oh yeah,
it's cool.
I appreciate you supporting us, man. Like when you tag us on Instagram and stuff, like I really appreciate that, man. Yeah, it means a lot. You know, like it's interesting because like when I'll post something, and I'm like all my homies are gonna share this. You know, like all my supporters are gonna like this is gonna be it, and then it's like nobody shared that. You know, it's like I know people see so like when you see my truck and you put it on Instagram, like that means a lot to me, dude. You know,
got it, dude. Yeah. Social media is wild, bro. It's like it's a tool that. I don't know. I just get that it's a tool that not a lot of people, like too many people think social media is 100% bad, you know, or like they get in that mindset of everything around it is bad, so I can't touch it at all. I think the cool thing about it is like there's actually I made a post. Danny made a post. We were just talking about it earlier about how we had some elders come to our business and pray over our business and anoint the farm, and we shared that on Instagram. For a lot of reasons, but there's, you know, some people hit us up and they're like, hey, I can't believe you're praying for a prosperous business, or I can't believe, you know, I don't know, just like haters, dude, just talking bad about it.
Yeah.
And I just think about, we talk about context a lot, and I just think about like, what's my context? Like, what's the reason why I'm sharing this? And I think that's a good question to ask, but it's all to fulfill God's great commission, to spread the good news, and to make more disciples. Like that's my context when I'm on social media.
Yeah.
Like how can we use this as a tool? Because they're all just tools, dude. You can do whatever you want with it, to like bring more people to God. And when I see people like you and I just see homies like doing good things on social media, like why? I know what it feels like to, like when people, I'm not gonna pretend like I don't look at things. Like when I get a lot of likes, I go through that list. I'm like, who liked my thing and who didn't, you know? And it's not to hold a list on people, but it is to understand that not everybody says or acts how they talk. My buddy says not everybody's. He said, make sure my audio matches my video. Like whatever I'm saying, whatever I'm speaking on about my life, make sure it matches it. That's why I like to have good men around me. But yeah, dude, when I see what you're doing and I see I see it all. When I see a post, it's not just about the post. I know like why you're pushing your business forward. I see your beautiful family. I know, I know the struggles you've been through. Like it's not about, yeah, dude. Anyways, I don't know where I'm going other than like I love doing that kind of stuff, and that's why I love this podcast is to have people on, just talk about like my goal at the end of this at the end of this day is like you feel like you accomplished something by just delivering your message, bro. Because I don't know, that's what I want to see everybody win, man. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, that's dope, dude.
Got it, man. So talking about faith in business, something that you said earlier is like you're new to the faith. I know that's not 100% true because you always throw in my face that you were baptized already. But when I
got receipts, bro. I got receipts.
When you say you're new to the faith, what does that mean to you?
I'm like recently surrendered to leading a life led by God. You know, like I'm not new to like religion and faith and Jesus Christ and going to church and stuff. Like I've been since I was a little kid, but I never, never lived it. Still probably not living it, but I'm trying.
Yeah.
Started reading the Bible, dude.
Yeah?
Yeah, 10 pages a day. Started at the beginning. Old Testament's a trip, man. Yeah, it is. Old Testament's a trip. My wife's like, you got to read some New Testament, Old Testament. I'm like, nah, I'm in it right now.
Where are you at right now?
I just finished Leviticus.
Cool.
So whatever books after that, I'm on like the first page of it or whatever.
Heck yeah, dude.
So that's cool. Hey, they were gangster back then, dude. So I keep asking my wife, I'm like, is this the Bible we're supposed to be living by? Because like it just says something about you, woman. I'm trying to live by this, but she's like, no, it kind of changes later on. Like I guess I don't know.
Yeah.
So I'm just like open and listening, and yeah,
it is, dude.
Yep.
Old Testament is gangster.
Yep.
My wife always explained it. I'm gonna butcher how she said it, but it's something along the lines of like Bible front to end. It's like it was always God's plan, and why like the old laws needed to be put in place for a reason, and it was mostly so that we understood that we couldn't, like we're sinners and we couldn't do it alone. So old Levitical laws are harsh, bro. It's like there's all these things that are like, so essentially like, well, it's impossible to be a good person. It's impossible to live without sin. Like I can't have two fabrics on, and like we're sinning right now, dude. And then it got to a time where man needed a savior, and that's when New Testament comes, and that's when Jesus Christ comes, and that's where a lot of the laws and prophecies get fulfilled, and we get to become something else. So my wife always explained it as like a full journey. I haven't read the Bible cover to cover, and I want to. But there's also a way that you can read it in like chronological order, which sounds interesting to me too. And I really want to. There's so much in there, dude.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, I was asking my wife like, we supposed to like burn our animals and smear blood and stuff? Like I'm about it. I just I don't know if that's what I was supposed to do. But yeah, it's a trip, man. Yeah. And then another thing that was funny is on Instagram, I saw this thing. Someone probably sent it to me like, I can imagine you praying like this. And it was like, you start off your prayer like, what's up, big dog?
Yeah.
And I thought it was funny. And then I started reading the Bible. I'm like, oh, nah, bro, I can't talk to God like that. Like, he'll fuck me up, dude, Like, I'm reading like, he's like cursing people. And I'm just like, oh, nah. Like, you don't play. Or he didn't play, I'm still learning, dude, Like, I'm,
And
not afraid to admit it.
Well, the beautiful thing is like we have Jesus. We have Jesus Christ. That's the difference between Christians and
a little more chill.
Yeah. Well, he still flip tables, bro. He's still, but he's. I think God, the God of the Old Testament is really difficult for I think humans to understand, including me. It's just like why would somebody be that harsh? Why would a God be that petty? Sometimes people explain. And I think it's because obviously God is beyond our understanding. We don't know. I don't know why the Old Testament is the way it is necessarily. But the beautiful thing is that God gave us his only son. He gave us Jesus. And that's something that we can connect with because Jesus was all God, but he was also all man. So we understand the things that Jesus was going through. Like I can imagine what it's like to be, even though I can't really, but I can imagine what it might be like to be persecuted and hung on a cross and have your mom there. And like, like there's all these things that I think make more sense in the New Testament to humans, and that's how it's made. Or that's why it was written, and that's why we have Jesus. But man, when we get to, I think when we really dig into Old Testament, is definitely great, and then you dig into the New Testament, you start to understand just like the emotions and the things that might be going through Jesus, like with Jesus Christ as he's fulfilling this prophecy as he dies on the cross for us, dude. I don't know. It's just there's a lot to the Bible. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's a trip because like before, I talked about like finally surrendering to it, and before like I would look at the Bible and I would read something and I'd be like, this is stupid, like, come on, man. Like he lived 850 years. Like I ain't reading this, and now like, and I would always ask like, explain this to me. You know what I mean? Like make this make sense to me. And that was my biggest thing is it didn't make sense. And like once I surrendered and I realized it doesn't have to make sense. It's just the right thing to do. And I can't explain it. Like if someone came to me that was like me and they're like, okay, like what made you like believe this now? I can't explain it, dude. It's just, I just know it's the thing to do. Yeah.
Well, you did have I don't know if you're open to it, but you had a pretty big event in your life that happened not too long ago.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. Yeah, we we went over the side of the mountain, went through a guardrail, about 8:30, 9 o'clock at night after football practice. We were on our way home and blew through the guardrail and went down probably a couple hundred feet. Probably flipped I don't know, how many times do you think we flipped? Eight times? Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, dude, it's fucking crazy, everyone that heard about it, small community up there in the mountains, and like everybody recognized my truck. And everyone thought we were dead, including the first responders that showed up. Because we got out and we walked up, me, him, and my other son. We got out of the truck and we walked up the hill. And all the first responders came up to us. They're like, "Are you guys witnesses?" Like, no, that was us. They're like, "What?" Everybody up there, it's like, how many people died? How many people died? It's like, dude, I walked away. I had a little scratch right here. My other son had a busted lip. And, yeah, man. It was once I got out of the truck and I stood in the back of the truck, I was like, okay, I hear you, I hear you. And, yeah, man, like as we were tumbling, like, so it's interesting how the mind works. Like, I thought we were just going to hit the guardrail, and already I was thinking like, damn, body work, where am I going to take it? Like how fast things go. Like, all right, fuck, I'm gonna hit this guardrail. How much damage? And I remember like, oh shit. Like once we blew through the guardrail, I'm like, oh shit. And we just fucking started tumbling. And he was in the passenger seat, my other son was in the back. And I remember reaching over and grabbing Jaden's left arm and reaching back and grabbing my other son. And all the lights turned on because the airbags deployed. And we just like, boom. And then we'd float. Boom. And I remember Jaden was just like, I thought we were going to die. I was like, oh, we're dead. And Jaden was like, I love you, Dad. Like screaming, Dad, I love you. I love you, Dad. And then he just started praying, dude. Yeah, he just started praying. And, yeah, man. And my son led me back to Christ, man.
Amen.
You know, like I remember like hearing him pray. And as soon as we got out of the truck, I stood on the back of the truck and I was like, okay, I get it now. You know, and that's what it took.
Yeah.
That's what it took. And went home, got up, went to work the next day. You know, woke up at 4 a.m., got home at like 11. And I remember that day, dude, it was like I was light. You know, I was just light the next day. And realized that if I was like, when I die is not my choice. Like, it's completely out of my control. Because if I was supposed to be dead, I'd have been dead. You know, that's my 5th time, you know, getting into some stuff where I should have been dead. And like that one for sure, dude, at least fucked up. You know, like, yeah. Yeah. I mean, don't you think, I mean, how crazy is it we weren't like hurt? Broken bone, like something, you know? Another thing, dude, is we were leaving football practice, and the first thing we crash, he gets out after like almost dying, and we get in the back of the truck, and he's like, "Dad, my football bag." And I'm like, "My bad, son," you know? And on the way up, right, how fast the mind works, he's like, "I'm gonna have to buy another helmet," like, blah, blah. We get up there, and this dude's football bag, a firefighter's like, "Hey, by chance, is that your bag?" It's just hanging from a tree, dude.
No way.
And he grabs his pole, he pulls it out. That's a trip. So yeah, so when we there's another part that's a trip, man, is when we so we got out of the truck and we're like upright, just like a little leaning. So like I had to kind of crawl out and he like kind of had to step down. And I remember sitting in the back of the truck and the truck's like kind of moving a little bit. And so he gets out on that side. My other son, Gio, gets out. We get in the back of the truck. I hug him. And then we jump down and we start walking up. And so we get up to the top and, you know, the tow truck came and they're trying to, you know, get the truck out. And so they come back in the morning. And I go to the next day to pull my belongings out of my truck. And the truck driver's like, "Dude, do you know where your truck was?" And I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, your truck was being like pretty much in a nest of tree branches. So we like rolled over a tree. He's like, "Dude, you're suspended over like a 300-foot drop." Yeah.
Dang, dude.
And he knew that because he had to walk around to put the hook on the other side. Yeah. And he did that and he looked down and he said he about shit his pants, dude. He's like, "Oh, damn." He dropped his AirPod actually because he like, yeah. Yeah,
I think something you told me too is like, Jaden, you were praying to Jesus, right? As things going down. Amen.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, and I drive by there every day. Damn near every day.
That's a heck of a reminder.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's a trip.
You know, something that reminds me of is like pulling back to like the animals and the blood sacrifices and stuff.
Yeah.
In the Bible, it says that that obedience is better than sacrifice. And what I get from that, or like why is it coming up for me? It's like, I've known you for a while, dude, and I know you know, we've made jokes about religion and stuff like that before. And something that I see from you, definitely, like as you're sitting there now, it's like, you're the type of man that strikes me as like, well, why do I have to obey God? Like, can't I just do good?
I'm good.
Yeah.
You know, I'm good.
You know? And the Bible straight up says it, like sacrifice. It doesn't matter, like it's not by your works. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter how big your business is. It doesn't matter how many kids you raise up and make them good people. None of that stuff matters, bro. And that's, I think that's a hard pill for a lot of men to swallow, but I'm delivering it to you right now because it's what's coming up for me. And it's like, God just wants your obedience. You know, there's so many men in the Bible where God has taken everything from them, you know? Yeah. And it's like, are you willing to Yeah, are you willing to still be obedient even if it takes everything away from you? That's the question. It's the everlasting question, man.
Yeah. Yeah, what's the trip about what you just said is, you know, I was talking with a man because when I moved up to the mountains, you know, I was getting pulled in, you know, like meeting a bunch of Christian men, getting invited to church, people around me, you know, going back to church and, you know, including yourself or whatever happened there. And, you know, I started going to church. I was like, all right, I'm not going to ignore this, you know, but, I was talking to a man and I was like, dude, how do you, cause you know, he's similar to me, someone, you know, and, you know, one of my like men. And I'm like, dude, how do you, like, when it says like I'm broken and I need God, or like I have to pray and like surrender and like obey and bow down to God. I was like, no, I don't, you know, like I'm good, bro. I can take care of myself, you know, like I'm down to have partners and stuff, but like, you know, like I don't, like, why does he have to be in the chain of command above me, you know? Yeah. And it's something I never understood. And then, you know, what I realized, dude, is like the role of a father, right? Like no matter what he does, what he says, how he comes at me, if he goes off and trash talks me, like no matter what he does, I'm gonna be right here, you know? Like you can come back anytime. No matter what he does, like, you know, I'll be here. And I mocked God for years, dude. You know? I mocked God for years. And he's still there for me, dude.
Yeah.
You know? He's like a fucking dad.
Yeah, dude. He is.
So it makes sense, dude. Like, fucking Father God.
Yeah.
You know? Like, yeah, man. I ain't bowing down to that many people, dude, but...
I mean, if you're gonna bow down to somebody, it might as well be the Most High.
That's
know
right.
What I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
I'll make an exception.
I don't bow down to anybody else except for the Most High. Maybe my pastor, dude, because he has my pastors have spiritual. There's a spiritual authority over my life, but I get to choose.
That's right.
Who it is? Who it is?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. That definitely reminds me of you know, if just parable of the shepherd. If there's 100 sheep and one goes missing, would the shepherd not go after the one, and would he not rejoice when they bring him back? You know, it just reminds me that no one's too lost for God, man, no matter what. And know that, you know, when you came back to God, the heavens rejoiced, bro. Another lost one came back to the flock. That's the Great Commission. You know, God calls us to spread the good news and to make disciples. Like, that's the Great Commission. Once you're saved, you're saved. Now it's just about, are you going to turn your back to him? And that's a bigger sin because you already know him now.
Yeah.
But I think something that you said to me not too long ago is like, if you're really up to something, and if you're really like, if you think what you're up to is actually really big, that you should be wanting to tell everybody about it. Right? You said something along those lines to me not too long ago.
Yeah.
And that's what God is. Like I just love the peace that I've gotten from him, so I'd tell everybody about it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah, something else you said, you know, jumping back a little bit is you're talking about like obedience is better than sacrifice. And I was talking to a man that you know who you know recently got baptized. And you know, I would you know, he's fucking my best friend, man. You know, we're very similar, best man. You have to edit that part out. I'll let him tell that story and identify
He's
himself.
coming on tomorrow.
Yeah. But you know, after the whole thing, I was like not embarrassed, but I was like, you know, because we previously had similar religious beliefs, which were, you know, none. And you know, I was like, damn, I'm gonna have to tell him. You know, I'm gonna have to tell him I'm a believer now.
Yeah.
And I remember I was talking to him on the phone. And I was just like, yeah, dude, like I'm all in on God now. And he's like, that's crazy, man. Like you know, I've been kind of getting like called to it too. Like people keep inviting me to church and stuff. And I was like, yeah, dude, like, you know, this accident is like, I can't explain it to you, dude, but it's just, I know it's the right thing to do. And he told me, he's like, dude, I'm listening because I don't want to have to go through something like that, you know? Yeah. And, you know, it's like the thing, like, luckily, you know, he chose or is choosing obedience over fucked up shit happening to him, you know? Which is cool.
Yeah, dude. There's in Mark, there's a story of the rich man. So a rich man comes up to Jesus and goes like, what do I have to do to get into heaven? What do I have to do to have eternal life? And this dude's rich. And Jesus looks at him, essentially knows that he values money above, because he's asking like, what can I do to get into heaven? And the reality is you can't do anything to get in. It's not about your works. It's not about what you do. It's about believing in Jesus and having faith in him. And so Jesus looks at him and he goes, like, the best thing you can do is go home and sell all your belongings and then follow me. And the dude walks away like, I don't know if I can do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what, like, obedience and sacrifice, you know, there's a huge difference, because like, people will take that verse out of context and be like, well, you shouldn't be rich. You know, it's like the verse, the one that a lot of people know, it's like, it's easier to pass a camel through an eye of a needle than it is for a rich man to get into heaven. Like, that's, a lot of people use that and say like, you're not supposed to be rich. The reality is that's not really what it's about. It's Jesus understood what this man was worshiping, and he was worshiping money and success. And he said, hey, like, that's your cross. You need to get rid of everything. And that's how you're going to follow me. You know? As a business owner, like, how do you balance your faith? Or I don't know if you do or not, but how do you just balance, like, because as a business owner, you have to grow your business. We talk about money. Even, you know, in my business, we do the same thing. We have goals. We have sales goals. We got to push forward. But like, how do you balance growing a business with understanding, you know, and your faith? Yeah, leave it at that.
Dude, I don't know. You know, like,
yeah.
I started reading the Bible, dude, because I don't know. Like, all this stuff you're talking about like, you know, like, the heavens are like happy that you know, it's like, are they?
Yeah.
You know, I don't know what the Bible says about that.
They are.
But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, dude, I just know it's the right thing, and I'm like, okay, let me read the Bible. Let me learn, you know? Because I can go to church and hear people talk, and, you know, they can take what the Bible says. Like, how do you take a verse and then you talk about it for an hour? You know? And like 10 different people probably talk about it differently. So I'll just read the Bible. So yeah, dude, I don't know. I'm still growing my business. Maybe, is it wrong? I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not going to stop, you know, but maybe I'll learn something and I'll shift a little bit. But I can't imagine that I would read something in the Bible and it's like, stop making money, you know?
Yep.
Like, I grow my business because, like, I had an employee just buy a house, you know? Like,
that's awesome.
That's what it's about, dude. You know, like, we're going to be creating a Instagram, like, a video soon of, like, you know, what makes the hard times worth it. And we're going to count, like, how many people are, like, relying on my business. How many kids, how many people you're supporting, add them up, and, like, give a fuck if you're tired, dude. What about those 150 people, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I can't imagine that the Bible says not to do that. I don't know. You know what I mean? But we'll see. I'll learn.
I'm trying to think now, dude.
and that's why, like, you know, because I see a lot of things of, like, you know, there's people that are Christians that are pretty wealthy, and then there's people that are Christians that are like, you know, like, it's not what I'm here for.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I don't think I'm a bad person. I'm gonna just keep doing what I'm doing, and I'll learn along the way. Yeah. And you know, if I learn something different, then I'll make a decision then.
Yeah. I think that, I mean, you're spot on around reading the Bible and just getting deeper into faith. Like, what a lot of people ask me, how do you know how do you know God's speaking to you, or how do you know the sound of God? And it's, well, first of all, you gotta learn His language. If you're, you know, I've gotten to know God's voice more the more I'm in prayer, the more I'm in my Bible, the more I go to church, the more I'm in fellowship. Like, things start to become clearer and clearer. Cool thing about God is, like, especially calling to men, one of the things that He calls men to do the most is, like, stop hesitating, like, stop having doubt. Like, I've already told you, you know, there's a story of Gideon that I love, but like, God will give a man will give a man an order, like, essentially tell him what he needs to do. And a lot of times our fleshly beings are like, I don't know, you know?
Yeah.
And the cool thing, like getting the Bible is the way. I've actually gotten to the point. I probably was at a place, and everybody has their own. God has plans for everybody, and they're all like your plans are not the same as mine. And I used to be like, there's no way God would ever tell me to not make money or not grow a business. Look at all the good things that this business is doing, and what He's called on me to do now is like I'm just obedient. I don't even doing this podcast makes no sense. Like I spent money on this. It takes efforts away from my farm. It doesn't make sense for me to do this. Yeah. I'm starting I'm in partnership with my church to grow a men's ministry, grow a marriage ministry. That's taking resources away. It makes no sense to do that. There's days where I submit to my flesh and I'm like, God, I need you in my business. Why are you pulling me to all these different places? And what I've learned about just the idea of growing a business and making money is like, it's better to be obedient than it is to sacrifice. Because growing this business could be a sacrifice. It could be like, God, I'm growing it for you. But is God asking you to do that? You know? And I think that's where as you learn His word, He wants us to be successful, and I praise all success over your business. But I also wouldn't put it out, like you said, God would never tell me to not make money. He might. You know? There might be a day where He goes, Marcus, you made enough money. And I need you to do something else. You never know.
That'd be cool, man. It give me a reason to, you know?
Yeah.
Because there's days where there's doubt, dude. You know, it's like, I want to do something else. Yep. You know?
That's what He did to Elisha, dude. Elisha's plowing these fields, running these team of oxen, and God said, burn everything and follow me. He does that multiple times. And the cool thing is He never calls on, I don't know. A lot of times He calls on people that don't have full faith yet. Like they're not 100. There's just circumstances where they're not like already following Him. He's calling on people that like they have to give up everything to come follow Him.
Yeah.
And in every scenario that those people are obedient, man, He blesses them in ways they can never imagine. And it might not ever always be money, you know. Like I was talking to my wife the other day, and we went from a $300,000 household to about a $60,000 household. And I looked at her and I just, I asked her, what are you lacking? Is there anything that you need to be the mom, to be the mom and all that stuff? And she looked at me dead in the eyes and she goes, I'm not lacking anything. She said, these last 4 years of running this business have been the least money we've ever made. But she's like, we've grown closer to God. We've grown closer to like the closest we've ever been to God right now. And it was worth the cost. That's so cool, you know?
Yeah, man.
So, yeah, man.
You know, one of the things where I'm like, where like when stuff just doesn't make sense, you know, or like, how did that happen? Is like how you and your wife met, and then like me and my wife met. And since like, I'm sure since you and your wife have met, you've gone through so much stuff, but then like you landed here, you know? Like, were you guys like were you Christians when you met?
No, we had Catholic foundations. She went to Catholic school growing up.
Oh, was that like a qualifier?
No, we didn't care. I actually pulled her away from the faith because I was like, I'm Catholic, but I don't really believe in this stuff. I know. And then she was like, okay, I love you so much. I'm going to do whatever you want. Yeah.
You got it like that, bro. You know?
Away, dude.
Yeah, oh, man. But yeah, man, it's cool. Like I think about, me and my wife is like how we met, and then like the way things just end up, like that's how people, are tempted by divorce, man, is, like imagine if now like either you or your wife, like imagine if your wife was like, no, I'm not going to church. Like I'm an atheist. How hard that would be, Yeah, man. Like that's like, for me, it's like God was looking out for me, man, because that'd be tough.
Yeah.
And like my wife putting up with me for so many years, like I can only imagine when she would hear me say some of the things I say, like, man, the patience she had for that. Because she says something that I don't believe in, I'm like, what? Yeah. Like, let's talk about that. And she's just so patient with me.
What was she doing? Because I know she was raised in the church. Like, what was she doing all those years? Like, when you all got together, did she stop going to church, or was she going without you, or how did that go?
Yeah, I think she stepped away from church for a while. Yeah. And then she would go and pull me there. I, most of the time wouldn't go. And, then I'd go and make fun of something in the car ride home, and she'd just be patient, man. You know, I just remember telling her, like, you really believe that? You know, you really believe Jesus did that? She's fucking patient with me, dude. It's crazy. Yeah, because if she said something about something I believed in, like, I don't know. I'm just different than her, you know?
I think men are in general.
Yeah.
You know? And my wife says, yeah, same way, dude. And that's really cool. I never crossed that parallel of, because I did it, you know, I did that to my wife too. I'd show up to church and I wouldn't make fun of her, but I'd be like, this isn't for me. Like, I'm just coming for you.
Yeah.
And it's crazy how, like, my wife was raised in the church just like that. And it's, like you said, it's crazy how God had our backs with that, man. You know, they talk about being equally yoked, how important it is. You know, again, with the oxen, if there's one that's stronger than the other, you just end up plowing in circles.
Yeah.
So they have to be equally yoked. And I don't know what God was doing for both of us, but he made sure that we got to where we needed to get to, which is great. You know, that just reminds me of, like, the stat. I forgot what the stat was, but it's something along the lines of, like, when I'm going to make up numbers. That might be wrong. Danny, you can fix me later. But, like, it's like if the children brings if a child brings the family back to Christ, it's about 10% that the family stays. And if the wife brings the family back to Christ, it's about 35% that the family stays. But if the head of the household, the father, the man brings them back to Christ, it's about 90% that the family stays. We have an obligation, dude. We really do. I look at I feel so, I mean, shame is a way to put it, but I feel bad about pulling my wife away from God and to see that my wife loved me so much that she probably could have stayed that way. You know, like we probably could have lived the rest of our lives not coming back to Christ if I chose not to come back. And to understand, like, what a duty that is. My wife loves our church. My son loves our church, and it's all on me. If I didn't show up, they wouldn't have that in their lives. It's crazy to think about, you know. But we really have. God calls us to be the head of the family, the headship. What do you got, Danny?
So some sources claiming up to 93% of families follow if the father leads, while mothers lead around 17%, and the children first lead about 3.5%.
Dang, even lower. So, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess what comes to mind is, like, if you don't go to church, he doesn't pray to Jesus. It could have happened. I don't know.
Yeah.
In this case, it was the 3%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
You
That's
think
true.
Oh, yeah. What do you got?
No, it's just a trip, dude. Like, if there's, like, you know, my wife has been very open. You know, there's a lot of stuff I believe in, and I've changed so much since we met. And, like, for the most part, she listens, man. You know? I can't get her to get away from Disney, you know? And I'm not going to try to. But, like, she's just listened, man. We've made so many lifestyle changes, dude. You know? So many lifestyle changes, and it's because it's stuff I believed in. And she's just like, she doesn't understand it, but she's like, I trust you to lead our family. And, yeah, it's just a trip, you know? Like, she just listens to me like, my God, dude. You know? She's just patient. It's a trip. Women are important, man. You know?
That's a blessing of having a biblical wife, dude, because they know that.
Yep.
I think there's, you know, there's just a lot of, I don't know, I talk to a lot of, like, there's a lot of my employees that aren't Christians.
Yeah.
And we make jokes all the time, bro. I'm like, you better find a biblical wife, dude, or else you're going to, you know, like, there's just going to be a lot of pain later on. But there's something beautiful about a biblical wife because they see, I think what my wife sees, or what my wife talks about a lot is, like, we do have different roles. There's different parts to this. Like, God has called me to be submissive to the head of the household. And then my job is to lead her with a servant's heart, to be in full service of her.
Oh, now you're going to get a shadow banned on YouTube, bro.
It's all good, man. No one watches this thing anyways. But yeah, like, to have that, dude, is so special, man. Because, like you said, at any given point, my wife could have turned her back on me. But I don't know. However God was working through her, that didn't happen. And now we're at where we're at. I do want to dig into, like, why do you think, because I think there's a revival, especially in men coming back to Christ. I don't know, just like the men's work we've done outside of our businesses and stuff. There's so many men that have been hitting me up and just asking me about God. and asking me specifically to be in a Bible study with them. And why do you think? What do you like? What's going on with men right now? Why is there a revival? If you noticed, I don't know. Have you noticed that? Have you noticed that there's more and more men looking for God?
Yeah, tremendous, dude.
What do you think that's about?
I mean, it's interesting, dude. I think, dude, I think the whole Charlie Kirk thing had a huge impact. I think how far out that went on social media had a lot of people like kind of have their ears perk up. You know, I mean, would you say that around that time is like that had, from what you've noticed, did you see that having like chronologically?
Yeah. I mean, we started this podcast right after that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that was huge. Another thing too, dude, is like the men's work we do and like men coming back to being men, you know, like men realizing that masculinity, like there is no toxic masculinity. Like masculine is just masculine. It can be used in a good way or a bad way, but like men are men, you know, and toxic masculinity is just a man making a bad choice.
Yeah.
You know, what men are around him? Where's he learning from? Who's he listening to? Who's leading him?
Yeah.
And men just realizing like, no, we need men to step up. We need masculine men to lead. There is differences between men and women. And it's biblical, dude.
What do you think about like something that has been on my heart, something that God's called me to do is like start a men's only church service at our campus at Dream City Long Beach. And it's going to be, you know, I don't know exactly, well, God's given me the visions, but it's more about like creating a masculine space in the church. What do you think, like, do you think anything's missing in the church for men? Like what's going, like, I've had some men come to church and they're like, that's great, but they don't come back. I don't know. Is there anything that you see that's missing in the church for men specifically?
I've only gone to one church, and it's the church my wife grew up in. And it's masculine.
Yeah?
Yeah. Like the message is masculine. You know, the way the pastor is masculine. And it's not like all one energy in there, you know? Like you can tell the difference between the way the men carry themselves and the women, and they have roles. And church is feminized, bro. You know? Like a lot of the churches I've been to and the space, and you go in, it's like it's a very feminine space. And I don't know, dude. Like I'm still learning. If that, I don't know, is that the way it's supposed to be? I don't know. It's just what I realize, and maybe that's the way God called churches to be. I don't know. You know.
He didn't.
You know, but I'm not like out here like fighting for stuff because like, bro, I'm in the third book of the Bible. You know, who am I to start changing stuff? But just something in me is like, it's a very feminine space. You know, the message is, I don't know how to say it, like watered down in a way. You know, like. Well, they'll read a verse and then they like soften it.
Yeah. Like
when they talk about slaves and servants, in today's context, it means it's like, well, it says slaves, right there, you know?
Yeah.
Like I get what that means today, like an apprenticeship, but like you know, that's
just be black and white. Just tell it as it is.
Yeah, there were slaves back then. You know, everyone thinks like slavery in a certain way, like you know, that's what the Bible says.
Heck yeah. What do you think are like what works about a men's only space? So we've done some work together, you know. What do you think works about that?
I think the ability to be free, you know, to speak freely. The ability to like put yourself out there and make a mistake and not feel judged. Like having a space where you can go and try something new and be open, be vulnerable with men that you trust. I think that's important, you know?
Yeah.
Like, imagine if, like, well, maybe for you because you're super comfortable, but, like, calling someone up, like, hey, come lead the message today. Like, now imagine if it was only men.
Yeah.
You know? Okay. These men aren't going to judge me. Like, fuck it.
Well, actually, that came up not too long ago. It's like, I was talking to, we had, like I said, I had some men here praying over our business. And, I think it just came up for me, like, because there's leaders in our church that are women. And I'm like, why did I want only men here? And it kind of came out of like, it's really hard for me to ask for help, ask for prayer when my wife is around. I don't know why that is, but it is. I don't want anyone, like, it's hard for me to just have someone pray over me while my wife is standing there. I don't know if it's an ego thing or it makes me feel weak or I don't know.
That's interesting. I don't know, dude. I don't know.
Yeah, man.
That's cool. What did you get out of that? Like what are your takeaways? When they came?
The first thing is just like fully surrendering to God. Like, this is His business. Whatever happens here, it's not by me, it's through Him. And to have other men of faith show up, and this is what I got at first. As they were praying over me, at first I had a split second where I got really emotional. Like, can't believe all these men care about me. Like, care about me enough to show up. Like, believe in me enough that they see this business being a ministry and doing more and bringing more people back to God. You know, because that's why they're there. They believe that there's something here that's special, and it's God's will, it's God's work happening here. So at first I was like kind of getting emotional, and then boom, it like clicked right away, and I just felt like the power of God overcome me, and I just felt strong, and I felt like standing up straighter, I felt like sticking my chest out stronger, and like understanding that I'm a warrior for Christ. Like, there's work to be done here, and all these men have my back, and they see it. It's like what we get in men's circles. The difference for me, though, is like it doesn't. I think when I was doing a lot of men's work with you, a lot of the times I would send something out, like a higher purpose out, and it would go out, and eventually it would turn back to me again. And I'm like, oh, I'm just doing this for me. I'm not doing this for anybody else. Even when I say I'm doing it for somebody else, I wasn't. The difference with men of God is like I get that I'm sending this out, and God's taking it wherever He needs to take it, and then He's giving me the orders back. It's not like I'm trying to figure everything out. So what I got from that is just like this business. So God has already promised me is what I got. Like I keep, like you said, is this what I'm going to do forever? Or this business is hard. All business is hard. There's struggles. There's days where I don't think is it going to be worth it? Am I going to be successful? Am I just going through to a dead end? Like, I can be in my head around it. But what I call back to is like, I found God at my desk downstairs. He already came to me and He told me, Justin, keep going with this business. Let me lead. Don't do it your way. Let me lead. So He's already promised that this business is going to be successful as long as I let Him lead. So why am I questioning what's going on here? Why am I questioning the hard times? Why am I worried that we're not growing mushrooms? So I had all these men come to pray over the business for its success, specifically that we aren't growing mushrooms. There's just certain mushrooms that aren't growing right now, and this is a continuing problem with me in this business. And what I got when those men prayed over me is like, why? Like, I should be like, why do I care about any of that? God has already promised me it's going to be successful. Just let Him lead. Like, stop worrying about everything. That's what I got.
How do you balance, like, this is something I was thinking about, because like I'm a fighter, dude. You know, when stuff's not working, I'm like, all right, not working, boom, next, fight. Like, no money in the bank, boom, like, let's go collect some checks. Like, how do you balance, like, maybe this is like what God wants me to do, you know, versus like, no, I need to go fight and make it happen. Yeah. Like, how do you balance that? You get what I'm saying?
I do get what you're saying. Like it's hard to explain. The biggest thing is being in prayer for me. Just having that direct line of communication, constantly speaking to God, and I don't know, man. It's like training. Like I just get trained up to know how to discern what's coming from me and what's coming from Him. And I think I had to do this the other day. Actually, it's with the social media post that did okay and started getting a lot of likes and views. And I was like, and then we had some haters on there, like commenting some things, and it got in my head. And I was like, dude, am I doing this for the attention? Am I doing this so my business prospers? Like, why am I? And then quickly I snap out of that and I go back to God and say, God, whatever your will is, let it be done. Like, if you want this, if like everything is done by you, for you, through you. So if you want this social media post to be successful and become viral, so be it. If you don't, so be it. Like, it's not about me. It's whatever it's you. So I guess, like, because I've had, you know, we've talked about, we're running out of, there's a time where we're running out of capital, working capital, and I was all stressed out about it. And you gave me a really good piece of advice, and just like, this happens, you know, like, it's normal. And it was the first time it happened to me. So I was like, I'm not worried about it. And I prayed, I was in the Bible, and God literally told me to stop and wait. And everything in me was like, go get this loan. Go get the whatever. I call them dirty loans because I'm like, just go get the money. It doesn't matter what the terms are. You need it. Just go get it. And God told me to sit and wait, man. And it was the hardest thing I ever had to do in this business. But I'm just understanding to be obedient. And I just have to believe. That's it. Like, it makes no sense, bro.
Yeah, bro.
But hey, we might get this crazy. I mean, I'm still praying to God if y'all could pray for me. Like, we might get this loan. Actually, he said he's going to get back to me tomorrow. That is an amazing loan at an amazing rate. The amount of money that we need to take this business to the next level. It's 2% under the federal rate, so it's pretty good terms. So, if it's your will, let it be done. If not, so be it. I'll still believe.
Thanks for not answering my question, dude. I was looking for some clarity, dude. Nah, man, that's dope, man. That's dope. Hey, since I'm reading the Old Testament, man, I'm like in that like kind of space of. It's funny when you said like you had some haters on your post.
Yeah.
I'm like, God's gonna make them not be able to bear children. You know?
Dude. It's like curses last for 4 generations.
Yeah.
Like you could be paying for something that your great grandfather did. You don't even, you know?
Like imagine if like that old like I was reading this thing where like I think it was Noah where like the kid went in and saw him naked and he was like, you're cursed for 4 generations. Like imagine if like Instagram these days, oh man, everybody would be burning, dude.
It might come again. You never know.
Nah,
might
man.
come again.
I'm
dude.
just messing around, dude.
Dude, there's so much going on in the world right now, though. I know we don't talk about all the topics, but there's so much going on in the world right now. And there's this just recently. There's like anti-ICE protesters going into. We can cut all this out if you want. But anti-ICE protesters going into a church and pretty much disrupting the church. I guess the pastor was like a part of an ICE something team. I don't know. But they went into the church, disrupted the church, protested in the church, like doing anti-ICE chants and stuff like that. It's crazy, man. Can't believe that.
Yeah, it's getting wild out there, dude.
Yeah. A man that I had on this chair not too long ago, he said when he prays to God, God tells him they're ready for war.
Shit, man. See, that's the stuff that like... So I don't know, but I just, it's what I've heard, right? And it's like, be peaceful, like don't harm others. Like I was reading the thing, like if you kill a man, like you have, like you'll get killed, Yeah, dude, like, like that's the thing I don't understand. Cause I'm like, like someone's trying to come after me. I'm supposed to just like, go ahead, bro. I don't know. That's why I want to read the Bible.
That's why you got to read the Bible, dude. That's why you got to be in. That's why you got to be in church. God has called multiple men in the Bible to pick up a sword and fight a war. It's in there.
Yeah, I don't know that.
Yeah, it's in there, dude. Yeah, that's what he did with Gideon. He told Gideon to build an army for him, and it's my favorite story. So I'll just say it again. He calls on Gideon to build an army, and then. First, Gideon's like, "Are you sure?" so can you give me some signs to make sure I'm sure? Like kind of like what you might say, And he's like, "God, make this garment wet and the floor around it dry. And if I wake up in the morning and that's happened, I know you really want me to build an army." Wakes up and he does it, and he's like, "Well, God, like I see what you did, but can you be 100% sure?" So when I go to sleep tonight, can you do it the other way around? Make the garment dry and the floor wet? Wakes up, God does that. And he goes, "Okay, God, I finally hear you. I'm going to go build this army." So he goes and he builds this massive army, right? He goes, "All right, I'm ready to go to war." And then God goes, "Hold up, you got too many men." He goes, "What?" Like we're going. God goes, "Send half of your men home." And he begrudgingly does that. He goes, "Okay, I'm going to be obedient. I'll send half the men home." And then he comes back to God and he goes, "Okay, I'm ready to fight now. Can we go fight now?" And he goes, "Nope, still got too many men. Go to the river, have some men drink." I forgot. Like have some men drink this way and have some men, like just watch the men. If the men that drink this way, you send them home. The men that drink this way, you keep. So he sends up, I think he ends up with like, I don't even remember the number. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's like about 500 men. Something from 20,000 to about 500. And then he goes to God. He's like, "I don't know if I can win this war with 500 men. Like, this doesn't make any sense, God. Like, I don't understand." And God just asks him, like, "Do you believe that I'm with you?" And he goes, "Yeah." And he goes, "Then go fight this war and we'll win." And he goes and he fights the war and he wins, dude. And Is it 500? What's he end up with?
So Gideon started with 32,000.
30.
God reduced his army for sending 22,000 men home, then leaving 10,000, and then further reducing them to just 300.
Dang, 300.
The original 300.
So from
Alright, don't-
32,000 to 300, dude.
Don't ruin the story for me though. Don't tell me what happens.
Well, it's a gangster story, dude. It's one of my favorites. You know, because I just imagine me a lot of the times in business. It's like when we're running out of money or whatever's happening, and I'm like, dude, like God, like how am I supposed to, you know, like I could imagine myself as Gideon, like God, we don't have enough money. How are you asking me to do this? Or you're pulling these resources away from me. It doesn't make like we need more money. It doesn't make any sense. And that line is just, it just gets me every time. It's like, do you believe that I'm with you? It's like, yeah, then we'll win. Like, what else do you need, bro? You know? I think that's the state of a lot of men these days is like the doubt that a lot of men can have. I'm one of them, so I'm speaking of it. It's like, I need more resources in my life. I need more men in my life. I need more money. I need, you know, whatever. I need to pile all this on so that I can make sure that I win. And what that ends up, it's usually money. And what ends up happening is then I become money becomes my master. And then you realize you don't realize it, but I think in that pursuit, what ends up happening is you're never going to have enough. If money is your master, you will never have enough. And in this story with Gideon, he literally stripped he pulled back. I can't even imagine what it looks like to look at a 32,000 man army and then only have 300. I can't even imagine what that looks like, you know? Yeah. And like the cool thing is we get to see the whole story. We get to see Gideon win the war. But in my life, I don't know the full story. I'm still living. I'm still breathing. I don't have my full story hasn't been written, or at least I don't know it yet. So I'm standing here going, God, how am I going to win with 22,000 men? And not realizing maybe one day I'm only going to have 300. And will I still believe? Because if I can believe with only 300, God is going to, you know, God's won that war. I mean, he'll have my back. So all that to say, this journey of entrepreneurship, of business owning, man, it's just been something that has really, like, it's broken me. But it's broken me so much to the point where I'm like, keep breaking me. Who cares?
Run it.
yeah, right? I mean, I'm sure you've been through some trials. You've been through some stuff with your business. Like what's going on with your business right now?
Oh man, it's growing. You know, that's where we're in growth right now. You know, I've been rebuilding leadership for the last like 3 years. You know, so many people have come and gone and training and wasted money and ups and downs and bad reviews and. Yeah, dude, it's been a tough time trying to grow the business, but right now we're in growth mode. The whole leadership team's on board with it. Yeah, dude, and some of the stuff I'm doing, like if I showed it to you on paper, it's stupid, you know? But I just believe in what we're doing. And it's just a risk, dude, you know? It's a risk, and yeah, man, I think that's, like, for me, that's where my faith comes in. It's like, if this is supposed to work, it's going to work. And if it's not, it's not, you know? But yeah, dude, right now everything's on the line, you know? Like I'm investing and spending money that isn't there. Just, you know, with faith that it's going to work out or it's not. And either way, it's like, it's what it's supposed to be. But, yeah, man, like we're hiring 4 people the first quarter. And there isn't money on the books to pay for them, you know? So it's just, all right, this is all going to work out. We're going to close some deals. Business is going to grow. There's going to be money in the next 3 months, you know? Like historically, this is like the slowest time and it's the best time to hire. You know, this is when we have the most downtime and it's just, cash is tight, extremely tight. But yeah, dude, did I answer your question? Yeah.
What's something that you say? Because I know of some men that have gone to you for hiring, like help hiring or just advice when they're hiring people. Mm-hmm. Like, what would you say to somebody who's grown a team or is hiring people? How do you go about that?
Man, I hated hiring people. Like, so my business coach, Martin Devon, you know, he just taught me how to recruit, dude. You know, like I like hiring, like I can go hire a landscaper all day, you know, like someone to dig ditches. I can go hire a foreman, someone to operate machinery, like that stuff I've got, you know, because that's like I grew up doing that. Like I can hire someone that can do what I do. Where it becomes hard for me is hiring people that can do what I can't do. It's like how do I qualify someone if I don't know how to do that job? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like right now, I could go hire someone to grow mushrooms.
Yeah.
You know, like it'd probably have to take a couple people, but probably the third one, you know, would be like the one that sticks. So I just took on a daily discipline, man. Like, okay, this is an area of my life where I want to improve it. Like, I want to become a masterful recruiter. And I just took it on, man. I tried and tried and tried and tried. Every day I did something towards it. Right now I have a discipline around recruiting.
Yeah.
Spend 5 minutes a day recruiting. Yeah.
What have you learned during the daily discipline? Like, I'm looking for like a secret sauce. I don't know if you have one, but like, what is it? What did you learn? What are you doing differently?
There ain't no secret sauce, man. That's the secret. There is no secret.
Is it a gut feeling? Like, what is it? How do you know if somebody is?
Yeah, I do operate off of that gut feeling quite a bit. You know, that's like the first qualifier, right? Is how do I feel about this person? But sometimes they surprise me. So I always, if there's someone qualified, right? Like look at their resume, see what they've done. And then the first interview, they kind of rub me the wrong way. I'll still bring them back for a second one. Because sometimes they're just nervous, you know, and they just say like dumb stuff. I had a guy come in, came in highly recommended from one of my managers. Worked at his last place for 10 years, came in, completely blew the interview. You know, it's like, okay, he hasn't interviewed in 10 years. Understandable, you know? So just stuff like that, man. Trying to like really listen to people and pierce through like the mask that they're wearing. But so like one, looking at resumes, if they bounce around like less than 2 years at a job, doesn't matter if they did exactly what I need them to do. 2 years, 7 months, 11 months. Like, no, I'm not doing it. I don't stereotype. Okay. But yeah, so that's one dude is like experience, how long they lasted at their jobs right off the bat. Over time, like looking at resumes, you'll be able to get an understanding of like their personality, you know? So that's one thing I've gotten good at, is I kind of know what they're going to be like just off their resume. And then get them to jump through some hoops, right? So like I'll call them on a Sunday, you know? Hey, what's up, man? Oh, what are you up to? What are you doing right now? You know, just kind of get a feel for them. Sometimes that's all they get is, you know, they don't get an interview. I just talk to them like, all right, cool. We're going to keep going down the list. But yeah, I usually I'll call after hours or on the weekends, you know, just to see how long does it take for them to call me back. And then we set up a Zoom interview, you know, see how do they show up to the Zoom interview? Is it on an iPhone? Are they early? Are they right on time? Are they late? Where are they at? Are they, you know, the other day I interviewed someone, dude's wearing his company shirt. He's like out in the field. Like, I'm like, you're at work right now, dude, taking an interview? Like, you know? Yeah. And then after the Zoom interview, well, first phone call, Zoom, and then we do it in person, bring them into the office, you know, where do they park at? How early do they show up? What are they driving? What are they wearing? You know, do they come in and shake hands? Are they like all that stuff, man?
Dang.
Yeah, it's all important. Yeah. I never call references.
Really?
No.
Why not?
One, it's usually baloney, dude. Like, okay. Like I ask you for references, who are you gonna give me?
Yeah. All my homies.
The dude that fired you?
Yeah.
No. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I usually don't call references, dude. Yeah. I've never gotten anything from calling that I'm like, oh, you know. One guy I called references. I was gonna hire him. Called his references. Best guy ever. Completely ghosted me.
Dang.
Still hasn't called me back, dude. Still hiring for that position too. You know, like, so, yeah, man. I've hired people. Resumes look good. My gut was off, but I was like, they can do this job. Just complete duds. Yeah, man.
When you say duds, what does that mean? Is it like, are you talking about like culture of the company, or just how they work? Like, what does that mean?
Yeah, so like my business runs very different than other landscaping businesses. It's like we're just different, dude. You know, whether it's a good thing, maybe it's a bad thing, but like what we hire for, like there's no company that has people that we can pull from and plug them in. Our business is very different. Usually, a business that does what we do is an owner that's wearing multiple hats and then has like people underneath them. or it's a big commercial company that's delegated a bunch of different managers, and they're doing commercial maintenance, all the big stuff. So for us to do the residential, very personal, intimate, emotional landscape projects, but at the level we're doing it it's not common. So we're either hiring people from another industry that are doing this but for a different industry, or we're bringing people from commercial companies that are used to like dealing with property managers, right? Like, no, we're dealing with you, the homeowner, that worked his ass off for that $50,000 project, you know? So it's different. Yeah. So yeah, man, we're not, we're pulling people that it's a new job, it's a new role, and it's very unique. So that's why we go through, and it takes just takes the right person. And so what we're looking for is heart. Like, we need that first. We need heart, and we can teach you plants and stuff.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
How much of that do you do yourself? Like, are you going out and meeting homeowners, or what do you do?
Yeah, I go out. So I go out and meet people that are referred to me. Like, someone calls us from Google or Yelp or Facebook, someone from my team's gonna go out. But even if like you refer someone and they call the office, I'm not gonna go out. But if you're like, hey Marcus, yeah, so and so, all right, give me their number, and then I go out.
My mother-in-law loved meeting you.
Yeah, and see, she called the office. Yeah. I had no idea.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So the way I found that out is Jaden was there working on the job.
Oh, no way.
And Jaden was like, hey, so-and-so. And I'm like, wait, what? And so I just went and met her.
Dude, that's tough. I didn't even know. I didn't know she was going with you or anything like that. I didn't know any of that.
Yeah.
I don't think I knew until I rolled up and saw your sign.
And the candle.
Yeah, the candle. Yeah, and the candle.
But yeah, so I have relationships with like pool builders, general contractors, and those are like my relationships. And then like people that, you know, hit me up and like, hey, my cousin or my neighbor, okay, let me have the number, I'll go out and meet them. But yeah, I'm not I'm a horrible employee, you know? So now like I have management and like people running the operations. So like they make jokes that like when I sell a job, like I'm the worst salesperson in the company, you know? Cause like there's a process, right? You got to like upload the notes, you got to do all this stuff. And yeah, I'm not a good employee, dude. That's why I own the business.
There you go, man.
Yeah.
But you don't have to do that stuff.
But yeah,
that really like something that I'm always like my team building. Something that's really cool that I always think about Jesus as a team leader because he had his disciples or his apostles. And one of the coolest things is that he sent them out 2 by 2. That he commissioned them to do as him and sent them out. So it's like, imagine Jesus there saying like, hey, you and Jaden are going to go to this town and you're going to do everything that I do. You're going to go heal people. You're going to go preach my word. You're going to do, you know, whatever. You're going to forgive people's sins. Like he said, do exactly as, like essentially commissioned him to do exactly as him. And I think about that all the time as a leader in the business, as I'm hiring people and I'm giving delegating tasks out to my employees. It's like, am I only delegating the small tasks, like the things I don't think are important? Or am I giving them the things that I think that I do, you know? It's definitely, growing a business is fun, dude.
Yep.
Yeah, man. We got, there's a segment that we like to do, and it's, what is your favorite Bible verse? You got one? Or no?
You know, it's funny, dude. I don't know which one it is, but this one's for my wife. And it says, wives must obey their husbands.
Oh, man.
No, man, I don't, man. Like I said, I just cracked open my Bible and, you know, there's like some stuff I hear that really inspires me and I'll hear it and I'm like, that's dope. But like, I don't know what it means. So I don't have a favorite Bible verse.
Cool.
That one's just funny though, because I always throw that one out. Like,
Hey, it's good to have humor, dude. God has humor.
Yeah.
You know, once you read as you get into the Bible, you'll realize that some of that's probably already funny.
Yeah. Yeah. On that, the Old Testament's crazy, dude. Like, I'm like, they were wild back in these days.
I mean, imagine, I always imagine at that time, there's a lot of pagan stuff going on. You know, a lot of people praying to false gods or whatever. Like, just imagine, I mean, full anarchy. Kind of like what we're living in right now. But, like, just full anarchy. Just people believing in different things, worshiping different things, like false idols, sacrifices, praying to this, praying to that. You got to come down with the hammer, dude. You can't.
Yeah.
You know, imagine if Jesus Christ showed up during those times, dude. They probably wouldn't. They probably would have. I don't know, man. Whatever, you know. They might have put him on the cross a lot sooner. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, dude.
You know,
rolling up to the Pride Festival here in Long Beach. You know.
You know, Yeah, man. Sometimes the hammer's got to come down, bro, and that's what that time was all about. But the verse that I already said it, but the verse that makes me think of you a lot is it's weird, but it's easier for a camel to pass through an eye of a needle than it is for a rich man to get into heaven. It's something that for a long time I didn't understand. I was like, what does that mean? Does that mean I shouldn't be a business owner? Like, what does that mean, God? And what I got from that is like just letting anything that's not God, if anything that's not God that's controlling me, like I need to let go of. It needs to not be about me. And as you're just a man that I know that's freaking crazy disciplined, and I understand like what you're committed to. Yeah, man. It just reminds me of I don't know. I guess it comes up for me is like I would just what comes up for me is like just pray on whatever you're committed to. Make sure it aligns with God.
Yep.
Cool, man. Well, thanks for coming on, dude. It's just cool to sit with you. Known you for the last 4 years now. It's really dope extra that Jaden's here too. It's really cool to see you as a young man growing up, man. And I saw you suplex some fool on Instagram the other day. That was dope, dude. And just blessed to know you, man. Close out the prayer. Is that cool?
I got a piece of feedback for you.
Oh,
for
yeah.
You, You gotta be able to smoke cigars in here.
I can actually.
Yeah.
I got a cool fan with like a carbon filter.
Mm-hmm.
I think we can do it. We got to test the sound, but I think we can do it.
Once I read the Bible, dude, I'll come back.
All right, cool.
Let me get to it. It's gonna like I think it's gonna take me 7 months. Read 10 pages a day.
Yeah.
So yeah, after I read the Bible, I'll come back in.
Bet business will grow by then, so you'll have new stories to share.
Whatever. If that's what God has planned for me, dude.
There you go. You're learning.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Where can the people find you? I know you've been pouring a lot into social media, so let the people know where they can find you, what you're up to next.
Yep, Facebook and Instagram at MC Landscaping LLC on both of those. Give us a follow. We post a lot of really cool, informative, really cool projects. Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Or come see us. Come visit our showroom. It's dope. You'll learn something. You'll see something cool. You see something you like. Come check it out. I'd love to show you around.
Heck yeah, dude. Heck yeah.
Yep.
Cool. Close out in a prayer.
Move that.
Heavenly Father, our God in heaven, just thank you for this time together, Lord. Thank you for bringing Marcus and Jaden into our presence, Lord, and just thank you for giving them the courage to be bold in their faith and speak from where they're from. Lord, I pray that you just pour blessings into their lives, Lord. Pour blessings into Marcus's business. He's an honorable man who does honorable work, and I just get that this business is actually bringing him closer to you, Lord. So I pray that you just continue to bless it, bless his entire family, bless young Jaden and his wrestling adventures and whatever else he's up to, Lord. I pray that he Marcus just continues to be in your word, opens his heart to you, and there's a long road ahead. There's work to be done, and I pray that you're with him in all of that work, Lord. In Jesus' name, amen. Cool. Thank you for tuning in to Daily Bread Podcast. We're pumping out episodes in this new year, so tune in, like, comment, and share if you see something that's worth sharing. Peace.